my name is Debbie Jacobs, and I wanted to do a video on killing depression, anxiety, and bipolar, which is my ego self. The ego self is the hurt self, and it's the self that developed from ego parenting. And in my upbringing, my father's unhealed pain created my pain that created depression, anxiety, and bipolar. They were definitely connected to my development, and how punishment and negativity factor in to the the full expression of the person that we turn out to be. And in my case, I turned out to be my ego self, the hurt self, living with depression and anxiety and bipolar, not my beautiful, authentic self. My beautiful, authentic self is the Debbie that I was meant to be. I wasn't meant to be in my hurt self with negative thoughts, low self-esteem, and negative, ineffective coping skills. And what are negative, ineffective coping skills? Anger, worry, insecurity, self-doubt, jealousy, guilt, shame, shyness, sensitivity. These are coping skills that, my dad never taught me, well, when you go out with your friends, be insecure. We're not taught, to be insecure. We're not taught to be angry, These are involuntary, reactionary responses. And we end up as adults living our life with all of these negative, ineffective coping skills that perpetuate, our existence with hurt and upset and pain and negativity. They don't serve us at all. They don't serve us. Fear doesn't serve us, because, fear as a coping skill doesn't serve us. When all of these ineffective coping skills are not our coping skills, just the natural response. So if somebody, crosses my boundaries, and is abusive to me, I get mad, But if somebody calls me a jerk, I don't have to get mad. I don't have to use anger as a coping skill. I use it when it's involuntary, when it's reactionary, but not, as a coping skill. So if somebody gets mad at me, I'm going to get angry at them. I don't want to use anger as a coping skill. I want to be more effective in handling the situation and creating a positive outcome, And basically, living with depression, anxiety, and bipolar, I had a lot of negative flaws. Well, I had negative thinking, low self-esteem, and ineffective negative coping skills, but I also had a lot of issues. I had an inferiority complex. I had abandonment issues. I had trust issues. I had, I didn't prioritize myself. I'd put others first. I'd let people, take advantage of me. I didn't know boundaries, which a lot of people don't know boundaries. But basically, I believe that it was a result of all of my ineffective behaviors that created depression, anxiety, and bipolar. And actually, most definitely, anxiety is a coping skill. In my opinion, it's not a mental illness. And really, none of this is kind of mental illness. There's nothing wrong with the mind. That's been proven. And there is no chemical imbalance. That, there are negative thoughts create low serotonin, not a chemical imbalance. And basically, we can live our whole lives in our ego self. with negative thoughts, low self esteem, and negative ineffective coping skills that create our unhappiness, that create our mental illness, that create our upset, that create division in our life, that perpetuate thoughts and coping skills that don't serve us. It doesn't serve me to perpetuate insecurity. I need to feel confident when I'm out with people. I need to feel good about myself. It doesn't help me to create, negative thoughts that make me feel more uncomfortable around other people. And healing is the process of awakening our beautiful, authentic self, the self that we were meant to be, all our good qualities, and how we awaken the beautiful, authentic self is to get out of the ego self. We have to get out of the ego self before we can awaken the beautiful, authentic self. And, to get out of the ego self, it's not easy. It's really not easy, but your happiness and the quality of your life depends on it. And I'm going to tell you that it is so amazingly worth it. It is worth doing whatever it takes to live your life in freedom and happiness. Freedom of negative thoughts, and happy to be free of negative thoughts and to be free of these coping skills that create pain in your life on a daily basis, that create unhappiness. So going through the healing process, which is a process of growth, and growth is painful. You really have to be committed and determined to have success and freedom, but that's all it takes to have success and freedom, your commitment and your determination. And when you get through the healing process, freedom and happiness for the rest of your life. That's it, the new you, the original authentic you, the you were meant to be. Positive thoughts, healthy self-esteem, and positive, effective coping skills that serve your highest good in every situation. Confidence, effective coping skills, so you're handling a situation and not feeling, like insecure about how you're handling yourself. Did I handle that okay? Did I say the right thing? I should have said this. I should have said that. All that's gone. You're you're effective in your thinking, and you're effective in your coping skills and how you handle situations. And, the difference between being in the ego self with the negative thoughts and the negative ineffective coping skills and low self-esteem is that you perpetuate creating negative outcomes. In the beautiful authentic self, you learn how to create positive outcomes, how to create win-win situations, how to create favorable outcomes for all that's involved, being solution-oriented, problem-solving, conflict resolution skills, totally different than the ego self. That's why the ego self has the ineffective coping skills and ineffective negative thinking, and the beautiful authentic self has effective positive thinking that operates serving your highest good, and effective coping skills to support. You need to have the coping skills to match the thinking. And if your coping skills aren't helping you, your thinking's not helping you. If your coping skills are helping you, your thinking is helping you. And then through the accomplishment of positive thoughts and effective positive coping skills, you accomplished healthy self-esteem. Now, why do you accomplish healthy self-esteem? Well, there's two reasons. One is because you're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling good. You're handling yourself in all these situations, and you're like, and you've gotten rid of all these negative thoughts that put you down, So like, you're feeling good about yourself, and to get out of the ego self and to build self-esteem, you have to be wrong. To accomplish positive thinking, you have to be wrong. You have to be willing to, change your thoughts. And you don't change your thoughts if you think your thoughts are right. If you think that your thoughts are right and everything is right, you don't change anything. That's the ego self. But actually, it takes being wrong to make positive change. And when you go through the invalidation of being wrong, because it is invalidating, it's being wrong, and that's how you kill the ego self. Uh, in the process, you learn how to effectively be wrong. Because let me tell you something, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Everybody's wrong, but when we deny it, when we, lie to get out of it, when we deflect it, when we blame somebody else, when we don't take responsibility for our actions, that's not the way to handle being wrong. And let me tell you something. I believe that it stems from childhood trauma from punishment. Being punished to be wrong, teaches children that there are severe negative consequences to being wrong, and they grow up into adults that can't be wrong. And adults don't have to be wrong, but you do have to be wrong if you have children because they need to be right for their self-esteem. So when a parent, is always being right and making the child wrong, they are invalidating the child over the course of their development, and then they're going to have a problem being wrong, especially if they make the child feel bad, if they punish the child, if they create hurt, if they never let the child, get their way. It's like, it's not really, it's not good to continue. We have to change this, being wrong, when a parent goes through the healing process of being wrong, they build self-validating skills to validate themselves. So now they're validated, whether right or wrong. And then they could take, if their kids says that they're wrong, they could take it and say, okay, I'm wrong. That's okay. You be right. It's not a big deal at all, And also part of the healing process and being and accomplishing our beautiful, authentic self is that we have to learn how to manage pain. We cannot have an open door policy that anybody can say something and upset me and hurt me and put me down. We cannot have an open door policy. We need defense mechanisms. We need effective coping skills. So, part of the healing process is also learning how to not take things personal. It's like, okay, you do that. That's a reflection of you, not me. And if a child, when you learn how to not take something personal, and then you see your child do something, you're like, they're a kid. It doesn't even matter. They could do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. I'm going to help them. I'm going to teach them, and I'm going to, support them, whether right or wrong. Self-validating skills, and kids need that. So, I just wanted to do a video on putting information out there, going from the ego self to the beautiful, authentic self. Because let me tell you, that's the self that we were meant to be. It's not an easy process at all because we have to get rid of what doesn't serve us and then ingrain into the foundation of our being new effective ways of being, and then move forward, in our positivity, not in our hurt, in our positivity and love, not in our hurt and negativity. So it's a total transformation of self. It's going from the negative self to the positive self. It's going from the inauthentic self to the authentic self. It's going to, from our ugliness to our beautiful, authentic self. Because let me tell you something, in the ego self, the things that we do that don't serve us, that are are bad qualities, and that can be ugly, that goes away in healing, And then also, it's like a perfectionist is part of the ego self. It's not part of the beautiful, authentic self. It actually is like a pretty big component of the ego self. Because of people's perfectionism, it leads to a lot of problems. People criticizing other people, people not taking responsibility for their actions, people not apologizing. It's like, that doesn't serve us at all. And we trade off our authenticity for perfection. And guess what? Our perfection exists in our authenticity. In perfection exists our flaws. So, we really want to reevaluate, what we're doing. You know what I mean? What are we doing? It's like our ego self is our hurt self, and we are living in our ego self instead of our beautiful, authentic self, the person that we were meant to be. Like I can't even tell you what it is like to be in my beautiful, authentic self. I really resonate with all the authenticity. It's not about being positive. It's about authenticity, but my perspective is positive because I'm healed. And my perspective is negative when I'm in my hurt. And once you have the ego death and being wrong, and you go through the healing process, you're in the beautiful, authentic self for life. There's no going back. I have a different, coping skills to handle, my situations. So I'm not gonna, create depression, anxiety, and bipolar, because it doesn't matter what happens in my life. It matters my thinking and my coping skills. And I have new thinking and new coping skills. And that's the thinking and coping skills of my beautiful, authentic self, the self that I was meant to be. And really, it is like, to be with in my beautiful, authentic self. I'm not insecure anymore. I don't worry. I don't self-sabotage. I don't second-guess myself. I don't put myself down in any way. I accept people. I'm not judgmental. I'm, pretty laid back and easygoing. But it's like all the negative characteristics. I don't have anger problems. I don't have my anxiety. I'm optimistic. It's just I don't take things personal. That's a big one. I'm not sensitive because I don't take things personal. Really helped me with my sensitivity. I'm not shy. I'm just myself. I am just myself, and I'm not in pain at all. I am not in pain at all. And trust me, my life is not perfect by any means, but I'm okay. And if I had my negative thoughts and low self-esteem, my depression, anxiety, and bipolar, still, I might not even be here. My negative thoughts might have gotten so bad that I hurt myself, but I can deal with whatever situation I'm in because I have positive thoughts and effective coping skills that are serving my highest good. I can't control what the universe gives me, but I can only, deal with my situation to create a positive outcome. Much better than creating a negative outcome. Creating a negative outcome is depression, anxiety, and bipolar, the ego self. Creating a positive outcome is from the process of healing and is my beautiful, authentic self. So my name is Debbie Jacobs. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.